If you have been using AI tools in your work for any length of time, you have almost certainly hit one of these two walls. The first wall, you start using AI for a workflow. Drafting content, building a system, generating marketing materials, organizing research, and the first few outputs are impressive. Fast, clean, surprisingly good. And then around the fifth or sixth task, something changes. You ask AI to adjust one thing and something else breaks. You ask it to stay consistent with what it built before, and it takes a completely different approach. You realize the outputs no longer connect to each other. You're spending more time correcting the AI than you would have spent doing the work yourself. The second wall. You decide the problem is that you haven't structured things carefully enough, so you spend hours documenting everything before you touch a single real task. Your context document is thorough, your style guide is detailed, your system prompt is comprehensive, and then you realize you've spent 3 hours preparing and produced nothing. Both walls are real, both are avoidable, and the fix for both is the same. Today I want to give you the core of a methodology that sits in the middle. Translated from app development into practical language for the publishing and media world. The first failure mode has a name in the developer world: pure vibe coding. The idea is to fully hand over to AI. Describe what you want, don't read what it produces, just let it happen. For the first few tasks, this is genuinely fast and surprisingly effective. The problem is that AI doesn't maintain state between sessions unless you explicitly give it context. Every new prompt starts from scratch. And so after 5 or 6 tasks built this way, your workflow looks like 5 different people built it who never talk to each other. For a publishing operation, this looks like AI draft 1 of your newsletters sounds like your voice. Draft 3 doesn't. The social posts don't match the email copy. The chapter summaries use different terminology than the author's own language. The book description doesn't match the marketing angles. Nothing is wrong individually, but nothing connects. The second failure mode is the opposite, overengineering. You build an exhaustive context document, a complete style guide, a detailed system prompt, a structured reference. You feel prepared, and then the actual work never gets done because the preparation becomes the work. The principle that resolves both failure modes is simple. You need just enough structure to keep AI consistent, but not so much that the structure itself becomes the obstacle. The middle ground is a method. The foundational element of the methodology is a single context file, a document you create once at the start of any AI-assisted workflow and maintain as the project evolves. In app development, this file is called agents.md. In your publishing workflow, you can call it whatever makes sense: context.md, workflowguide.md, projectbrief.md. The name doesn't matter. The name doesn't matter. What it contains does. The file has 5 components. First, a role. You tell AI what kind of expert it is operating as for this specific project. Second, a project overview. Third, the stack, or in publishing terms, the assets and resources. Fourth, the structure, where things live, what they're called, how they relate. Fifth, the rules, anything you would otherwise have to repeat in every prompt. The key insight: you don't have to write this file perfectly up front. You write what you know. When something keeps coming up in your prompts, you add it to the file. Solve it once, document it, move on. Every prompt in the practical vibe coding methodology has 4 parts, always in the same order. Part 1, reference the context file. Part 2, one task. Part 3, constraints. Part 4, reference material. A complete prompt looks like this. Read the context file and follow it strictly. Write the opening paragraph of the author bio based on the draft interview transcript attached. Do not change the existing second or third paragraphs. Match the warm, first-person conversational tone of the existing marketing copy sample below. The discipline that holds the whole methodology together is the commitment to one task at a time, and verifying that task is complete before moving to the next one. Under time pressure, the instinct is to bundle tasks together. The problem is that bundled tasks produce bundled errors. When something is wrong, you cannot isolate which task caused it. You end up correcting things that were working because you changed too many things at once. The methodology treats each completed task as a stable foundation for the next one. When something breaks, the response is always the same structure. One targeted correction prompt. State the problem. State the correct behavior. Add a constraint to keep everything else untouched. Most AI-assisted content workflows currently look like this. You open Claude or ChatGPT, re-explain your project from scratch, get an output that is generically good. You re-explain the rules, and by the third iteration, you have spent more time managing the AI than using it. Now, apply the methodology. You have a context file for this author's project. It contains the role, the project overview, the manuscript reference, the tone rules, the style decisions, the constraints on what not to change. Every prompt starts with, read the context file and follow it strictly. Every task is scoped to one deliverable. Every correction is targeted and contained. The difference is not in the AI model you're using. It is in the persistent structure that tells AI what it is working on and what the rules are before it writes a single word. The tools are available to everyone. The structure is what separates work that compounds from work that resets. At Nori Media Group, we are building our own content and publishing workflows on exactly this foundation: persistent context, scope tasks, and verification before moving forward. This methodology is what makes AI outputs reliable enough to build on, rather than outputs you have to rebuild every session. Follow Nori Media Group for more. Drop a comment below. What is the AI workflow in your publishing or content work that keeps falling apart? What do you think is causing it? I read everyone. Thanks for watching.